Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I've got your weekly dal for you, and today it's one that I grew up with in Calcutta. That was a super winter favorite because it uses a ton of lovely seasonal vegetables like cauliflower and carrots. But for us, it's this phenomenal one pot meal. Now it's called Bhaja moong dal shobji diye, and that basically translates to roasted yellow moong lentils with vegetables. I have to warn you, if you can hear this horrible pounding noise in the background, some builders have decided to do drilling just as I've started filming for you. So apologies in advance. Anyway, I hope the recipe sounds interesting to you and you enjoy it as much as we love it at home. And without further ado, let's get cooking. By the way, I hope you're enjoying my little weekly dal thing, and please let me know. Give me your comments. Let me know how you're enjoying it or not, whether there are any dal recipes you'd like me to create for you. I'd love to hear from you. So don't forget to leave me a comment and tell all your friends about me. Like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Let's get cooking. So this dal uses a slightly unusual technique, which is that the raw, unwashed cup of moong lentil, so that's yellow moong, is dry roasted on a sort of medium high heat for 8 to 10 minutes. You will see as you stir it, it smells incredible, like warm, nutty. It also changes color, so it turns a darker shade of sort of pinky orange, if that's a color. Now, as soon as that happens, and you can't leave it unsupervised for even 1 second, you have to keep stirring regularly. Tip it into a fresh pan because otherwise it'll keep cooking in the warm pan. Now, while it's cooling down, I'm going to chop about a medium carrot into little pieces. Just cut them into even size pieces. So I'm going to go half lengthways and then little cubes. I'm going to then get about a quarter of a medium cauliflower. So we're looking for about 50 grams of a cauliflower. I want to fill a cup of vegetables up to the brim, so really let it kind of spill over. This is how I cut my cauliflower. I don't even hardly ever use a knife. I'll just break it into little florets, not too small because you don't want them to kind of really melt and disappear into the dal. So have them with a little bit of chunk in them. And that's my filled cup, you can see. So now I have filled that dal bowl pan with water, about a thumb's worth. As it's cooled, I'm going to wash it nicely, then fill it with fresh water and bubble it. The lentils will take 20 minutes to bubble. First thing we do is skim off that foam. I've told you guys this before, and just get rid of it. When the top is relatively clear, we can add a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Give that a little whisk so it mixes nicely into the lentils. And there you go, your lovely glowing dal. And that's just going to bubble away. So 20 minutes or so. And what we're looking for is not for the lentils to disintegrate. We want them cooked but retaining their shape, and I'll show you later. Meanwhile, get your other ingredients ready. I've got half a cup of frozen peas here. You can use fresh. And I've got also a half of a very large tomato. Let's call it a medium tomato, shall we? And you want to roughly chop that as well and get it ready for the dal. While the lentils are bubbling, we're going to make a start on the vegetables. I'll use mustard oil for this, which is a very typical Bengali cooking oil. When it's hot, in goes a large bay leaf and a couple of dry red chilies. I'm also going to add to that 1 stick of cinnamon, a couple of green cardamoms, and then a little half a teaspoon of cumin seeds and 4 whole cloves. And you see that nicely sizzling up. The pan is on a sort of medium high heat. You don't want it to burn all those lovely ingredients. In goes our carrots. give them a mix, and then now I do something a little bit inauthentic, which is I add a teaspoon of sugar in that hot oil with the spices. And the reason I'm adding sugar now is because it caramelizes and gives the vegetables as well as the dal later a lovely golden red tinge. In go those cauliflower pieces now. Again, we want to stir that up nicely, mixing well with the sugar, all those spices. Your kitchen's going to be smelling amazing right now, and you're welcome. The next thing we add are those tomato pieces. Again, we're going to stir that through. We want the tomatoes to soften a bit, really get in with all those wonderful flavors as well. And then the dal should be looking quite good. If it dries up, just add a little splash of hot water and then stir it. Do not add water until you can see the dal quite dry, and look at the color on that and the shape. You see the lentils are still holding their shape well. Good, we'll let that keep bubbling. Let's go in with the peas now. I've also got 2 green chilies, which, one fell out. Sorry, we'll just fish that out without burning ourselves. Pop that back in the pan and just, again, mix everything together. I'm using frozen peas, so obviously they do need to cook and warm up. We don't want people biting into frozen bits of peas. And then that is pretty much done. So salt. Add some salt now. I like to add salt here because then the vegetables are a bit tastier. The dal is kind of done now, so in that goes, and you can see the lentil pieces are sort of at the bottom of the pan, so I'm going to scoop that up out in a minute. Let's give the pan of lentils a little bit of a stir first, and then in goes all the remaining lentils. Just look at that. It smells incredible. Did you notice there's no onion, no ginger, no garlic? It really doesn't need it, actually. You'll see the result is so spectacular. You can add another splash of hot water here. I've just dipped in a teaspoon of garam masala, some salt as well to just check. You want to taste it to make sure it's got enough salt for you. Yes, I was saying that you can add a splash of hot water here to loosen the lentils up, depending on how you want to have it, whether you want to have it with rice or roti or just on its own. Such a lovely soup style dish as well. And then, of course, a dollop of ghee. I love ghee in dal. For me, it really completes it. Every time I start recording for you guys, the sirens in my neighborhood literally go off. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, that was also a very ham-fisted dropping of ghee in lentil situation. Sorry about that. There's a bit of ghee left in my measuring spoon, so I'm going to use the measuring spoon to stir the lentils so I don't waste a single drop of what we call liquid gold. We need all those flavors to come together. So I'm going to stick the lid on for a minute or two, lower the heat as well so nothing burns. Best not to walk away at this point because we're very, very nearly done. So let's take the lid off now and just look at that. The ghee would have floated to the top. I don't know if you can see it. All those ingredients are beautifully incorporated, and all we really need to do is pour that into a serving dish. I'm going to have this with brown rice. I think it completes it. So you can just pour that over. You can see those little grains of lentils, and they're so nice with a little bite, warming, hearty, fragrant, just beautiful. And it just takes me straight back to my family home in Calcutta and wintry days. Just look at that. So all I need to do now is obviously give that a little bit of a taste. And I'll tell you how I like it. I like to have a little bite of the green chili first and then chase it with that rice and lentil combo. And it is so gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for watching and see you here for the next one.